has changed drastically. While we try and chart new courses for humanity, some traditions must remain. Valued, held dear, preserved for our own race and for all of humankind. On our 10th season, Dayaw gives thanks to the culture bearers and their protégés, they who carry their traditions into the new world. We celebrate Salin Lahi, legacies for a changed world. When we can no longer come together to pray or celebrate a religious feast or mark a day of devotion, what happens to the arts that have for so long embellished our religiosity? Our Catholic ways of worship have long been made more beautiful by the pageantry and pomp that attends every procession and every gathering. The visual arts have long been an active handmaiden to the propagation of the faith. In the preparation for these gatherings, whole clans and communities come together to clean a carroza, to dress a santo, to prepare the flowers and the lights, to pass down a tradition which melds community, faith, and art. A tradition which we all thought would last forever. But what happens when we can no longer come together to celebrate these traditions? Faith surely will remain, and we will find new ways to live our faith, sustaining it as it sustains us. To the craftsmen whose services once were put into the service of the liturgy. The arts they have produced may become just museum pieces. Beautiful, but cold and untouched. Inspiring, but unused. Admired, but ultimately neglected. What happens to the knowledge and skill by which these craftsmen professed their humanity and their faith? What place does this knowledge have in a changed world? These are questions that one of our national living treasures must confront. Even before the pandemic changed our ways of worship, Eduardo Mutuc, Gawad sa Manlilikha ng Bayan awardee, was already feeling the change. Eduardo Mutuc is a metal craftsman from Apalit, Pampanga, who was awarded the distinction of Gawad sa Manlilikha ng Bayan in 2004. He was once a farmer who at age 29 gave up his occupation in order to apprentice with older carvers. He also dabbled in supplying antiques from Pampanga to collectors and shops.
Yung mga design namin, kami lang gumagawa. Yung hamon namin kasi, namimili ng mga antiques. Bibilin yung mga design sa simbahan. Pagkatapos iuwi sa shop, pagagawa sa amin.
It was through these exposures that he developed an eye for fine details of ecclesiastical arts. From the master carvers, he learned how to work wood and fashion the elements of Baroque and Rococo. Then, after 5 years spent mastering the craft of carving, he learned how to translate his carvings into metal sheets molded from the wooden models. Then through silver plating, the metal sheets became the elements for grander creations. His work process begins with a detailed drawing, a blueprint that is then executed in wood. He then places a metal sheet on the mold, and by firmly pounding with a mallet and an old rubber slipper, he transfers the rough design onto metal. It is this process that gives Mutuc's craft a name, pinukpok. The most hazardous stage then takes place, as these sheets are dipped in molten silver. It is a dangerous task, as the fumes are poisonous. The finer touches and embellishments are then hammered in. Only then can the metal plates be assembled into fabulous carrozas and frontales, standartes and ramilletes, tabernaculos and seriales that carry the flourishes of 18th century Baroque and Rococo into our time.
Nakuha sa trabaho, yung pagganap ng trabaho.
Recently, though, the craftsman renowned for his intricate pinukpok has slowed down in his work. The master is nearing his 70s, and his eyesight is not as sharp anymore. The physical stamina that once enabled him to work every aspect of the pinukpok process is also waning. In 2019, when Dayaw visited him for this documentary, the orders for his pinukpok masterpieces had slowed down drastically. And though the master was committed to teaching the craft to others, younger people did not have the patience. Sadly, neither did he.
Di, nung araw kasi gusto kong turuan yung mga bata, kaya lang matigas ang ulo. Yung kanilang gusto nilang gawin, pinabayaan ko sila.
Still, there was glimmer in his eyes when he recalled how he had gone against market taste to create what he felt he was best at.
Kumisan, gusto ng mga exporter, sila ang nasusunod. Ayoko yung ganun na inaako ng mga exporter. Kumisan, yung may pera, ayaw nila maglabas ng pera, ganun. Pero ako hindi ko sinusundan yung kanila. Basta gawa na akong gawa. Basta meron akong materialis gagawin ko.
A man of few words who would much rather let his work and his convictions speak for himself. Though the demand for his art was experiencing a decline, he remains a survivor. Even now, as he approaches his 70s, hard knocks are nothing new to him. And though he has weakened, he seems content that he has passed on what he knows to his sons.
Ngayong darating na zona ng Pangulo, ihahatid sa inyo ang mga pangyayari Mula Batasang Pambansa hanggang sa bawat sulok ng Pilipinas.
The joint session is called to order.
Buong puwersang magbabantay ang inyong integrated state media sa ilalim ng Presidential Communications Office, Philippine Information Agency, Philippine News Agency, Radyo Pilipinas, Radyo Publiko, IBC, at PTV. Nagkakaisang boses para sa makatotohanang paglalahad. Mula sa inyong mga maasahang tagapagbalita, kami ang inyong integrated state media. Para sa Pilipino, para sa Bagong Pilipinas.
Eduardo Mutuc may not have the many apprentices and protégés that other Gamamo winners have, but he has his sons. And though they may have to support their own families through other means, pinukpok is a legacy they must carry on their shoulders.
Yung mga anak ko kasi 6 na lalaki. Tinuruan ko lahat sa primera sa wood carving. Katapos sa meter top.
Now that he is in his 70s, he feels he is weaker and no longer as skilled as before.
Humina yung paningin, tsaka yung pagpupukpok. Sa ngayon, hindi ko na magagawa yun. Pero sinasabi ko sa kanila, basta yung trabaho, yung pagbutihan nila.
Though all the 6 sons were schooled by their father, only 2 have followed in his footsteps.
Si John kasi, at saka si Edwin, mga kasama ko sa trabaho yan eh. Kaya natutunan nila. Primero, pinagawa ko muna ng mga design. Pagkagawa ng design, pagkagawa ko sa kahoy, sa molde, gano'n. No?
Eduardo Jr. has also experienced a decline in orders for their craft. But like his father, he is a survivor. Today, he and his wife augment the family income by producing basketball shorts.
Isang araw, pag may order, nagpapaano rin ako, nagpapatayi din ako. Kumukuha din ako ng mananay pag may order ako. Pag konti lang naman, yung asawa ko lang ang nagtatay o yung nagtataba.
In order to survive, Eddie Jr. may have taken a brief detour from the family tradition.
Hindi naman kasi ako nakapagtapos ng pag-aaral. Yun nga, yung mga turo, yung trabaho ni tatay, padalang lang naman kasi may magpagawa. Kaya nga yun, nag-isip ako ng ibang trabaho. Meron akong 3 anak. Silang 3 ay nag-aaral ngayon, elementary pa. Elementary yung 2, yung isa, high school na. Ngayon, sa pananay naman namin, kami lang, parang kami lang mag-asawa ng yung nag-aano sa patayan namin. Pag may order lang doon, gumagawa kami.
But his His memories of the skills and values he learned from his father are still fresh in his mind.
Buhat nung elementary pa lang, yun, pagkatapos namin sa eskwela, yun, kailangan magpukpok ka. Kasi kung di ka magpupukpok, ikaw ang pupukpukin ni tatay. Ganun. Medyo may pagka-stricto si tatay noon. Kasi siya talaga na gusto niya na kami, yung mga ginagawa niya talaga gusto niya, yung matutuan din namin yung mga ginagawa niya na itinuturo niya sa amin para yun nga pagdating ng araw na magkapamilya na kami, parang makatulong na rin sa amin. Yun ang ano ni tatay sa amin na pagtiyagaan namin yung mga ginagawa niya. Kasi talaga yung trabaho ni tatay, tiyaga lang talaga. Hindi naman basta pinukpok mo okay na. Kailangan may tiyaga ka rin.
Eddie Jr. still values the lesson that he learned at his father's shop and hopes for the day when his children may be able to continue what he has not.
Oo, tuturuan ko sila. Nasa kanila lang talagang gusto nilang matuto yung trabaho namin na ganito. Tuturuan ko sila. Pero gusto ko talaga na matuto rin sila para hindi nga mawala yung ginagawa ni tatay. Para ano. Pero sa tingin ko naman yung mga anak mo sabi nga sa akin pag gumagawa ako, tay turuan mo ako. Sabi ganun. Oo, pagdating ng paglaki mo medyo tuturuan din kita ka sabi.
Ang pinaka-importante po sa akin bilang mamamahayag is to shine the light on important issues para higit silang maintindihan. More than the rhetoric over and above the debate, ang pag-uusap po natin ay magbubunga ng mga idea at solusyon. At yang mga solusyon na yan ang maaring maging basihan para sa konkretong aksyon. Ayan mga kaibigan. Halina po kayo at pag-usapan natin.
Tutukan tuwing Lunes at Huwebes alas 8 ng gabi. Dito lang sa PTV.
Son who followed more closely in his father's footsteps is Edwin. He is 44 and has his own family. He has set up his own shop in Bacolor, Pampanga. While he specializes in pinukpok, he has had to branch out into furniture to augment their income. Has experienced the highs and lows of the pinukpok trade, having experienced and learned it since he was a child.
Umpisa ko nag-ano lang ako, kumbaga helper lang ako kay tatay noon. Ang edad ko noon mga 8 years old na ako, kumbaga nagkakalikot na ako hanggang sa matuto ako ng pagpupukpok niya. Hindi naman tumigil yung ni tatay na paggawa kasi masipag siya Hindi siya tumitigil dahil nga marami kami. Walang tigil yung niya, pagtatrabaho niya. Kahit nga madaling araw, alas 2 ng madaling araw, gising na yan Pupukpok na yan Dahil nga marami kami para meron siyang pantustos sa amin, mga nag-aaral. Masipag si tatay. Maraming design si tatay na yung binibigay sa amin na inaano sa utak namin na ito yung magandang design. Kasi nanggagaling sa kanya lahat yung yung idea sa design Kaya sinusundan namin yung gusto niya. Umo kami baguhan pa lang, yung kay tatay muna yung namin dahil kumbaga sa ano pa lang kami. Estudyante pa lang kami nung niya, tinuturuan niya kami. Tsaka gusto namin matuto nung talagang pagturo niya sa amin sa mga design. Hanggang sa nga nagbinata kami, meron na kami sariling idea sa design, gumagawa na rin kami ng design. Medyo nagiging pulido ang gawa namin dahil hindi pa nanginginig yung kamay namin. Bago pa lang yung namin, talagang murang-mura, sabi nga nung talagang pa yung kamay namin. Hindi kagaya ni tatay, bugbog na yung kamay niya sa kakapukpok.
Edwin is aware of how age has diminished his father's abilities. This reality only makes him more conscious of his own responsibility.
Oo, malapit kami sa tatay kasi ako malayo pa ako pag namimiss ko rin yung pag-uwi dito Ang layo sa amin dito mga kalating oras. Pag ka na magmotor ka, mag-single ka. Madalas akong pumupunta rito dahil nga chinecheck ko si tatay dahil pag kung mamahina na siya, mamimiss mo rin namimiss mo yung magulang mo Palagi ako dito dahil kahit meron akong sariling shop, madalas akong pumunta rito.
The skills learned as a young man have also allowed Edwin to venture into another trade. His shop also specializes in furniture. And here, he has applied the carving skills learned at his father's shop.
Dito ako natutong mag-design. Kahit dun sa kahoy, ganun din Gagawa ka ng design, pupukpukin mo. Doon mahuhubog yung kamay mo. Nauna ako sa tatay Nagagawa ako ng mga design na alimbawa sa mga frame na picture frame, para maiba-iba naman ng konti. Guguhit ako ng iba-ibang design. Mas malaking kahalagaan na tutuloy mo yung trabaho na ganito. Sa mano-mano, manual ang pagtatrabaho. Malaking hindi kagaya ng mga ibang design na dumarating ngayon, bagsakan na yung permis na lalabas na lang, design na lang. Mas gugustuhin ko pa rin yung mano-mano sa pagdi-design. Kahit marami pa rin naghahanap ng mano-mano na design. Kasi ngayon, hinahanap pa rin yun.
In his sons, Eduardo Mutuc has firmly placed the responsibility of ensuring that his craft lives on.
Yung mga anak namin, merong sa generation nila, yung bang lumalabas na generation ngayon, kailangan mo silang turuan para kapag nawala ka, kahit papano, merong magtutuloy. Misis ko naman sabi niya, paano pag natuto yan, wala ka ng trabaho, sa kanya na lang magpapagawa. Hindi mawawala yung kahalaman ko sa utak ko kako, hindi makukuha yun. Kahit yung sa mga kamay ko kako, hindi nila magagaya yun. Ang pagka-stricto kasi ni tatay, okay lang naman kasi gusto niya talaga yung trabaho niya, yung talagang matutuwan namin. Kasi kung hindi niya kami may iigpitan ng ganun, hindi namin siya matututuan talaga. Hindi kami matututo.
Hindi importante yung merong makikinabang ng iba Kung siya natutunan mo. Dapat merong matututo sa trabaho ko, sa ginagawa ko. Sinabi ko sa mga anak ko, pagbutihin nila. Dahil na walang gagawa niya, kundi kayo. Hindi naman gagawa yung ibang tao
Hindi na ako tumigil sa trabaho na to. Napatapos ko na yung anak ko sa ano na to Isa lang yung anak ko Napatapos ko na siya 2 kurso sa awa ng Diyos sa pagsisikap din, kagaya ni tatay, yun, tsaga. Napatapos ko ng ganun yung anak ko, natrabaho rin na ganito.
Huwag kayong nakuha sa pera ha. Basta magtiwala ka sa trabaho nyo ka.
Eduardo Mutuc faces the realities that perhaps other Gamaba winners have been spared. The decline in his health also comes with stiff competition from other younger pinukpok artists, as well as a prevailing temper of the times. Age and circumstances have seemingly combined to momentarily put his art on hold. But who knows when another Baroque masterpiece will be produced in his humble workshop? Who knows when the tides will turn, when the genius will once again be recognized in the smallest details so lovingly beaten out on metal sheets? We can only hope that all this is just a momentary respite. Just as we can only pray that one day the silver sheets will gleam again, reflecting both his genius and our faith.